So I had someone send me a message on my my YouTube messages today, and they asked me how to install an LGA1156 CPU. So that kind of inspired me to do a series of CPU installation tips. So I've got an Intel confidential CPU. I can't tell you what that is, but the first one I'm going to be doing is how to install a CPU in an LGA1156 motherboard. So step one would be find a CPU. Okay, so as long as you've completed that, the actual first step would be to take the lever here, and then you push down a little bit, pull it out to the side, and then lift it up. Actually, you don't need to lift much because it's kind of spring-loaded here, so you can see the pressure that the arm is putting down over here, and that actually forces the socket to slide under this bolt. Okay, so that's what is giving the pressure to hold your CPU in. So you pull it out, lift up the arm. That's going to cause this to sort of, yeah, there we go, lift up. So once that protective cover is removed, you should remove any cats from the vicinity because cats will cause all kinds of problems during CPU installation. Step two would be to see that little place where it says remove that. So you hold your thumb under there, lift it up. Okay, so you're removing the protective cover from the LGA1156 socket. This is the part where it could get hairy if you have a cat. So there's 1,156 pins in there, all of which need to make perfect contact with the 1,156 pins on the bottom of your CPU. Now you see these two notches up at the top here, right there, and then at the bottom, right here. Those two notches need to line up with the notches in the socket, which are here and here. Okay, so I gotta line up my CPU, which means it's gonna go in some kind of different orientation. Hold on, put it this way. This is harder than it looks, folks. I'm looking through the camera installing a CPU. So you get it lined up just right, so you can see my notches are where they belong. Drop it into the socket, being very careful. I like to give it a little bit of a wiggle just to make sure it's in the right spot. Then you take the cover here, you put it right where it goes, sort of so that it can slide down here. So you just, it's gonna be loose, that's normal. Okay, so then you take the lever, pull it all the way down. There's gonna be, you're applying some pressure here, like that actually is putting a fair amount of force back on my finger. So once you do that, you can see that the CPU is actually held in by these two tabs right here more than anything else. So those line up with a little metal tab on the heat spreader, and that's what gives your CPU the force downward that it needs to ensure it makes good contact with the pads in the socket. So thank you for checking out my installation tip for LGA1156. More to come.